we talked about our used car checklist, or even the JD Power tool that we talked about, of just kind of knowing the vehicle you're looking at is kind of generally worth.
Yeah. And I think you should say the sources. You kind of have more credibility instead of saying, oh, I Googled it and whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Say, no, I went to jdpower.com.
That's like going to a doctor and be like, I Googled my symptoms.
Right, exactly.
And I'm pretty sure I'm dying.
It's like, no, you're my second opinion now.
Yeah,
That's where you want to be.
Hey guys, welcome back to Guiding You Forward. And Jeannine, let's pop the hood on all things auto loans.
Okay, let's drive it forward.
Okay. Well, and you just touched on this, so let's dive into that. So GAP more or less kind of covers maybe the price you essentially paid for the vehicle and covers that depreciation between what the insurance maybe would give you for it in a collision versus what you still owe on it. Is that
so? If you buy a $30,000 car, it was really valued at $30,000 yesterday.
Right.
Because it's been a month or a year, right? It's already at 28.
Right.
So that gap in between gives you that insurance, that $2,000 insurance. It's actually statistically much bigger than that. But
Gotcha.
You can buy it through our branches. If you close at the branches, we have great products for gap and both warranty.
Okay.
Or if you want to close at the dealership, by the dealer's gap and warranty. If they're one of our trusted dealers, we've already vetted them.
Okay.
So there's nothing to have anxiety about there. I am a nervous Nelly naturally, maybe a little more than normal.
You're talking to the right person.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. And so just imagine driving your car off the lot and it gets totaled because it depreciates immediately. That's just how autos go.
Yeah,
Trucks,
of course. As
vehicles.
soon as you drive it off the lot. Yeah.
And so that gives you that literal insurance for the gap between that. And so it's usually not very expensive, all in considering. So it's definitely investment, definitely worth the sleep that you could lose over that. And then we'll probably talk about warranty, especially for used vehicles.
Right.
New, the OEM or the manufacturer, there's a lot of built-in there too. But I've never in my career bought a car without gap and warranty.
Right. And with warranties, are those, not to get too into the weeds, but I assume, with dealerships, they kind of imply that they're warranting it or something, but that's not usually the case. So I'd assume with us or another financial institution, those warranties are being placed with third parties, I'd assume. So we're kind of offering you the same warranty that a dealership would offer, even if you choose to do that through us. Is that correct?
Not really.
Or yes and no?
So it's different third parties, different products, and it depends on the dealership. Kind of like if you work for different companies, you have different health insurance plans.
Right.
It could even be the same company, but it's a different flavor of the options and stuff. So that kind of goes by dealership. If you if you purchase a car through our branch and you finish at a branch, please buy our warranty.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And
that goes back to the
affordable.
Not-for-profit status, right? Is that's another benefit that we offer members is probably reduced cost on that.
Yes. Same for Gap.
Right.
If you close through a dealership and you want to buy that dealership's warranty, it could have a myriad of features and it's still a good warranty.
Right. Yeah.
And it'll be rolled into that deal and you'll finance that all together.
Right.
So, if they're one of our trusted dealer partners, don't be scared of getting that warranty. We want you to protect your collateral too.
Right.
And you might get other things like free oil changes and stuff. But if you close through the branches, we have awesome warranty. Yeah.
Right. Do you suggest shopping around for warranties? Because I know that's probably a high pressure situation for a lot of people. Like you found the vehicle you want, you're talking through the financing and everything like that, but it comes to the warranty. Do you just take it on the spot and like, oh, I'm sure theirs is good, or
they'll usually give you a good checklist worksheet. I think because we have trusted dealers, we just haven't had a lot of use cases where
people need to shop around.
To shop around.
Okay.
That means they shopped around. And you have to think the dealers want you to come back.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So trust that if we have a contract with them, if they're a trusted dealer, they've shopped for a good warranty. The dealers that we have, our top dealers especially, their employees purchase cars through them and get their warranties.
Right.
So they're picking it for themselves too.
Great.
Kind of like for us in Mount America.
Yeah.
We want our warranty because it's awesome.
That makes you feel warmer about accepting those, because I know even when I was there, and I guess I'm just beating a dead horse at this point, but I am a car guy, but when it came to the warranty, I was very hesitant. It felt like they were really trying to upsell me, and I'm a mechanic also, so I'm like, I can maintain this. But even I was like, well, that's nice to have. Like, it's nice to have the warranty. I can fold it into this payment and everything. So
especially if it doesn't go over your payment in your budget,
right,
it's definitely worth it.
Just nice
because you just never know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an ideal time to purchase a vehicle? Like,
yeah, I get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say technically no. Right? It's like, well, do you need a car right now?
Yeah.
Like, for example, I co-signed a car for my daughter earlier this summer too.
Oh, great, yeah.
And didn't matter if it was a good time or not. Like, she needed to get to work. She
needed it, right? Yeah.
So sometimes it's based on need. I think there's the older ways of like, okay, if you wait to the end of the month or you wait to the end of the quarter, the salespeople at the dealerships will just be really
trying to fulfill quotas or
yeah,
something.
And that's just kind of not how it goes now. They have such customer service metrics and overall scorecard stuff that it's more like, when can you afford it?
Right.
Now, I say that and take it back a little bit because you want to look for sales. So you got your Memorial Day, your Labor Day. If your dealer down the road has an anniversary sale, that
those
could
are typically pretty good.
Oh yeah, you'll get maybe some rate lift, maybe some extra products in there, maybe gift cards or more oil changes, so look for those sales. That's probably the best time, especially if you're loyal to a brand or a certain vehicle.
Right. And I know we occasionally do rate discounts as well with some of those sales. So that seems like an ideal time to purchase it. So more or less just be on the lookout for some of those sales. If you can wait for those, then
yes,
it's almost like waiting for like Black Friday, right?
Exactly.
Or any of those dates that you're like, I know they're going to be discounted, but how quickly do you need it?
That's right. Yeah. Like I didn't want to drive myself to work and then my daughter to work, and it was worth it to me to just, buy a vehicle.
Right.
Now, I will say for the sales, if you see us have sales with dealerships, they'll be marketing that. Our Mountain America team in marketing helps them create those materials.
Right.
That's probably because I'll call them extra trusted, because we try to do those sales generally and focus on dealerships that are also our business members.
Oh, okay.
And so that means, and SEGs, so select employer groups.
Right.
So that means those dealers are our business members, super trusted, right? Their employees are most likely members of Mountain America.
Right.
Right? They love our products. And so you're really going to get a good deal if you see those sales. But we have something special at Mountain America where if you have My Style Checking, you'll get an extra 25 basis points off your deal.
Oh, that's great.
Regardless of your credit or whatever. So whatever you qualify for, you'll get a 0.25% off of that.
That's amazing.
And My Style Checking is such a great product. You get free telehealth visits, like for real.
Yeah.
For real, it's free.
Actual healthcare.
Yeah. With a prescription discount. I know that's helped a lot of people. The other thing is there's lots of benefits, right? But I turned off my mobile phone insurance.
Oh yeah.
So that saved me $30 a month.
Yeah, that's
happy
nice
to have that. And then the other benefit is My Credit Score Plus. And so you can go on and check your credit score and get your credit report on there. You can always go to annualcreditreport.com. It's free to do that once a year. But if you're going to be hanging out in our awesome app, why not just check your stats and get that detail there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's worth it. It's worth the free telehealth just to get the checking.
That adds up over the years, right? With the interest rates of just, it doesn't sound like much, but it adds up.
No, and regardless of your credit score or that you fall into, your down payment or whatever, you still get that 25 basis points on top of whatever you qualify for.
Great. Any suggestions on kind of how to save money on a vehicle? It used to be, and I don't know if this is still the case, but paying cash for a vehicle, like they'd give you a break on the price, kind of like paying cash for a home. Is that still the case or not so much?
I think not so much in general, because of the incentives and things like that. It's not as good for us either for someone to pay all cash because we're not financing.
Right.
So definitely go in and just set that expectation up front. Again, if you are nervous about finding a trusted dealer, our branch team members can help you do that.
Right, great.
Yep.
But any other money-saving tips that you would say are pertinent?
Again, try to put as much down payment as you can. Sometimes you'll find that in your trade-in.
Right,
though,
yeah.
Right? So be prepared with your trade-in and value in that trade-in. I think gone are the days in general where cash wins a better deal just because of the incentives that the dealerships get through financing.
Yeah.
Especially if they're captive, one of those big brands. That's probably a no-no sometimes.
Right, yeah.
But again, it comes down to it. Listen to your dad. Get your car detailed. Get the most you can. If you're buying an additional car, lots of families have teenagers. When my daughter was a teenager, I was like, I'm not trading anything in.
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to keep this forever.
And I need extra insurance and things. So I think a money saving tip is probably outside what the deal is. So a newer car is going to have generally higher insurance. People don't think about that right away.
Yeah.
And so you're like, whoa, now I have some trouble. If you go trade in your truck and you get a diesel, you're going to have a bigger gas bill.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So it's thinking about like all the extras around it to save the money that you can. So you don't have any buyer's remorse or surprises.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of just thinking through like total cost of ownership rather than just like the initial purchase price of the vehicle.
Yeah. Or if you downsize from a truck to a car, how much are you going to have to pay for someone to bring your mulch?
Right.
Like, you're going
to have to hire somebody to bring over construction materials.
Exactly. So those hidden expenses. Yeah.
Great. Speaking of tips, any tips you have for negotiating vehicle price, right? Like, and I guess backing up a little bit, that feels like it's almost become a thing of the past as well. Obviously, if you're buying private party, that's still going to be a thing. But I've just noticed at dealerships, and to be fair, it's been a while since I've purchased a car, but a lot of them these days are like, nope, that's just the price of the vehicle, and not necessarily having to negotiate. But if you do have to negotiate or you are negotiating, do you have any tips on that front? Because I know it can be, again, a very high stress situation. Yeah. Not a lot of people are comfortable with negotiating with other people. Yeah. So any tips for that?
Yeah, because it's invasive, right? Because you just met a stranger, they know your whole financial picture. Yeah. And they have an objective too. I think it comes down to go to the loan calculator. Know what you're going to want to go in to purchase your vehicle for, your term, your monthly payment. Realize that monthly payment is going to be a little more once you add your, what I'll call essential products, your warranty, your gap.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one way. The other thing I think people get surprises on is they don't know their credit score going in.
Yeah.
So if you get pre-approved, that'll help. That will help you out at the branches. But maybe you're just not in the mood to people that day, right?
Sure.
You can do that on the phone with us and online. But you should go to annual credit report every year. Because if you don't need a car, you might need a house later or a credit card.
It's a great financial tip across the board.
So you don't want to go hiking with new shoes, right? That you haven't worn and you don't know how they're going to feel yet. And so that's probably one of the biggest surprises that people get is they're like, oh, I have some things to clean up on my credit. And sometimes it's hard, but the silly things on there that might be a mistake that you didn't know and didn't dispute, it's going to kill you to have, an extra 25, 50, 100 basis points just because you didn't have good, financial wellness.
Right.
So I would say if you don't know if you're going to buy a house anytime soon and you don't even need a credit card and your car's fine, maybe just make an appointment online with one of our branches so that you have your hiking shoes and your snacks and your map and your backpack. So that at any time there's a sale, you're like, forget it. I'm trading this one in and I'm getting a better one.
Time to pounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Do you feel like we talked about our used car checklist? I assume that could probably help guide you as well if you're looking to negotiate prices. Is like what you're looking for, and if there are any issues, you can point them out and be like, well, I think this maybe brings down the value as well, or even the JD Power tool that we talked about of just kind of knowing what the vehicle you're looking at is kind of generally worth.
Yeah, and I think you should say the sources because you kind of have more credibility instead of saying, I Googled it and whatever.
Right, yeah.
Say, no, I went to jdpower.com and I put the valuation.
That's like going to a doctor and be like, I Googled my symptoms
exactly.
and I'm pretty sure I'm dying.
It's like, no, you're my second opinion now. That's where you want to be. The second opinion's at the dealer. So you went to JD Power. The other thing you could do is most of our dealerships, or I can't think of one that doesn't, but they'll run a Carfax type or equivalent, which shows the history of the car. So that's something you definitely want to do if you're buying from a private seller.
Right.
If you don't see that at the dealership, ask them for it. They can pay that. Ask them for it. Have them give you a vehicle history. It's pretty standard now.
Right.
It might not be Carfax, might be another tool. That's fine as long as it's a reputable tool. And so those are the things that, this has been in an accident, and we'll give you some negotiating power.
Gotcha.
If you're a car guy, I love that used car checklist. But even for me, I'm like, this is a lot of parts that,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned Carfax, and I mean, I've looked at a lot of vehicles that like maybe will come back salvage title. Some people sometimes are upfront about that, and sometimes they're not. Do you have any recommendations when it comes to purchasing salvage title vehicles? Because I know as a car guy, they warrant a much more thorough investigation of whether they've been repaired correctly and what that all looks like.
Yeah.
So I know there's some uncertainty there. But looking at salvage cars, I guess, do we even finance those, or, kind of what that looks like as far as like value goes?
Yeah,
What does that all look
question.
like?
It's like my favorite topic too. So thanks for asking.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Okay. So Mountain America overall for vehicle financing, we're happy to finance a salvage title. We call it branded.
Right.
And so for indirect, that's very common. Our largest auto group, over 16 stores, is salvage title branded.
Oh, great.
And same thing. They're one of those dealers where the price is put online. It's really the price.
Right.
That's
it. Yeah.
That's it. Their warranty is a very good warranty. That's it. There's nothing behind it. Every time you buy a car, they plant a tree.
Right. Yeah. That's
you know,
amazing.
and so I just bought a branded vehicle through our largest auto group. And,
Oh, great.
And I bought a luxury vehicle. I would have not been able to afford that
Otherwise,
right? I mean, I'm a single mom and I need to stick to my budget, and I'm going to stick to that budget.
Yeah.
But I wanted low miles. I wanted a little bit more of a luxury vehicle, and I needed it to be affordable. So that's the only way that I could really do it. And I visited the rebuilders, the people that rehab the vehicles. You'll know that because you're a mechanic.
Right. Yeah.
We have 5 branded dealers that were very trusted. We've done due diligence on them. One is also local in Salt Lake.
Oh, great.
They're a great business member and such a big champion of Mountain America too.
Yeah.
But I've also visited the rebuilders personally for our largest auto group, like
Interesting.
in Houston personally.
Yeah, like the
had
repairs.
a compliance. I put my compliance officer hat on, and then I did a checklist.
Let's check this out.
And they told me way more about airbags than I planned.
Yeah. Than you ever needed
Right,
to know.
that was good for my development, right? But very trusted. And so when you get it through our 5 branded dealers, that is QC'd to death.
Right.
So if that car has water damage, they have limits where they're not going to accept that water damage past a certain point for our dealers that we trust.
Right.
And so it goes through so many checks, QC checks, than you normally would. If that car rolls in for water damage and the windshield wipers don't work, guess what? It's put back to 100%. It's just not what's damaged. And so we really trust them. Our branded dealerships, they're the most recurring customers. So once you buy one from them, you just are hooked, and you
just keep coming back.
Yep. If you build a good relationship, maybe there's something you're specifically looking for. They could even help procure something for you.
Oh, great.
You can wait a minute.
You can tell them what you're looking for.
And remember, we have a contract with them. So there's the retail installment contract. We always encourage a warranty, right?
Right.
But if there are problems and you buy through our program, we will be your advocates with the dealer.
Great.
Right?
Yeah.
So and they know that. And so sometimes, we have some tough conversations, and,
But we handle the tough conversations for you instead of you kind of having to deal with it on your own.
It's very rare, right? Because you can't control everything all the time. But
of course,
they're very good to our members. And so, I did that myself.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Growing up as a car guy, when I was much younger, a salvage title was like a no-no.
Yeah,
was
right.
like, steer clear. Mm-hmm. And I feel like these days, especially lately, there's so many well-repaired salvage or branded or rebuilt, whatever you want to call it, titled vehicles that I'm way less leery about them. And I assume because of these, and I guess that leads into a next question for me is, if you're interested in finding that, how do you find a trusted partner of ours? Like, is there a way, like, would you go into a branch and they would recommend some people?
You can go to a branch and then recommend, and they have those lists. It's only 5, so one big group, and then 4 other partners.
Okay.
Especially the branches near them. They know them.
Right.
Right? Because a lot of their employees are members.
Right.
And so it's a great relationship. But I wouldn't be scared of it. The problem is there's some bad players out there. And they've really given folks a bad name. And some
bad apple spoils a bunch.
some credit unions won't even do salvage titles.
Yeah, that's actually kind of why I asked, is because I was like, I don't know, honestly, if we do or not.
Yep.
So.
I think for our largest auto group and the one big store, another partner that we have in Salt Lake, up to 90% of all their own employees drive their vehicles.
Oh, wow.
At the poor players, right, that number's very low. So that's one of our due diligence questions to see. It's kind of like, how many of our employees are members of Mountain America?
Right.
Probably all of us.
A lot.
Right? Yeah. Because we want, our My Style checking, and I want my phone protection for free and things like that. So, yeah, it's a great sign.
Great. If you are buying private, are there any tips? We've kind of touched on a lot of them so far. Are there tips from buying from a private party that you would recommend in maybe keeping consumers more safe or making sure that they're not getting maybe swindled or taken for a ride on that?
It is risky, right? So there's a lot of risk buying anything on the internet, especially a vehicle.
Yeah. Anybody who's listed anything on like Facebook Marketplace,
yeah, exactly,
or KSL can attest to that.
Yeah.
Of just, hey, is this available? Yes. No response.
Exactly.
Or, you know.
Now I will say KSL Cars has a good program to make that safer.
Right.
But in general, a private seller is risky, and so just think of it as buying, something very expensive from a stranger. You're going to have to be your own investigator. You'll have to do your own JD Power, your own Carfax. Definitely use our used car checklist. Right. And ask all those questions. It doesn't mean it's bad, right? There's probably a lot more people selling vehicles online to try to get the top value than, buying them sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's not bad. And I would encourage people, like, where are you going to meet to look at the car? Right. You could consider driving to our branch parking lot.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to buy it,
safe place.
Maybe you can finish that transaction there. But it's a safe place.
Right.
It's in public. And it's a red flag if they're like, oh, I can't drive it 4 miles there.
Right.
Okay, well, then it's not drivable, maybe, right? Or it's not real. Yeah.
Right.
So try to find a safe public place. Obviously, I'm biased, but a branch parking lot would be great because you can go in and ask, and do the valuation and try to close the deal.
I know a lot of police stations provide like exchange areas for that as well.
Yeah, police station, public library. So something where is like that, but you're taking a risk.
Yeah. But branches are great if you're going to finance it too, for like the whole title swap and everything.
Oh yeah,
signing it over and everything is a great area to do that, and even do the financing, get them the money.
I would go do the pre-approval. You'll have the VIN if you saw it online,
right?
And then finish the transaction from there. Just be careful.
First-time car buyers. You have been mentioning this a little bit with your daughter having to co-sign on that. So any tips or tricks for them? What does that typically look like? If somebody's listening, watching this, and they're looking to purchase their first vehicle, are there any considerations that you would recommend to them considering?
Yeah. I think it's first, build your credit. It's going to be hard for someone to just go buy a car at 18 years old. It's just difficult. It is.
Right.
And so, have they pulled their annual credit report? So do all of your health checks there. And then, it's not a bad idea to have them go with a friend or a trusted parent or, someone with them.
Right.
But it's kind of just the same for everybody else. You'd be surprised how many non-first-time car buyers don't know their budget.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so it's kind of like keeping a clean car clean is easier. They have a clean slate.
Right.
Let's get you with a branch team member. Let's figure out their budget, their income. They'll give them a good idea if they will need a co-signer.
Right.
Or it might be better if they have a co-signer because we want to make sure.
Get a better rate.
Yeah. And just like a normal transaction, but you're kind of starting off more excited and a clean slate.
Right. But for first time, it might be a little bit more critical. Like maybe do visit a branch and talk through your financial plan for this because we could give you a good idea of maybe what you'll qualify, if you qualify for something better with a co-signer. Yeah. You probably haven't looked at what you can afford from a monthly payment standpoint.
Right.
We can talk to you about gap and warranty stuff.
How long you had your job.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have a job. If not, you definitely need a co-signer.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah. You're definitely going to need one.
But same thing. There's lots of folks that need a first-time co-buyer. They just got a job.
Right.
So.
And they need reliable transportation to get them to work, right?
Yeah. So, just kind of do the homework and pull the annual credit report right away, right? 18th birthday.
Right.
What a great birthday. Yeah.
I actually have my kids' social security numbers and actually pull their credit reports on a yearly basis just to make sure nobody is filing for credit or anything in their names.
Yeah.
So even before you're 18, definitely do that check for sure.
I know that's a different podcast, but we can talk about how to build credit for your kids.
Yeah.
And then when they turn of age, how they can get.
Yeah, we talk about the annual credit reports on here quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks so much for having me today to talk about auto loans.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. Also, you guys, make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you next time on Guiding You Forward.